Your 30 days are up, Albright. Your 30 days are up, Albright. Get your junk off my property now. That was the first thing Silas Blackwood barked at me right there, in front of the Monroe Arms, where I'd lived for over 50 years. He was standing in the doorway like he owned the whole damn street, all slicked up in an expensive suit, looking like he'd never missed a meal or known a hard day in his life. Meanwhile, I was just standing there, 92 years old, trying to keep my cane from wobbling under me while I watched my whole life packed into a few crumpled boxes and an old armchair. I asked him for more time, just a little. My VA housing app was still in the system somewhere, caught in the gears of that beautiful, slow-moving machine they call government assistance. I wasn't asking for charity, just grace. But he laughed. Time? You had your time. I bought this dump to make money, not run a charity for has-beens. Then he said something about trash, how, if I didn't move, he'd call sanitation and they'd haul me out like garbage. I remember looking at him into those cold, dead eyes and thinking this guy wouldn't last a day in Bastogne. Hell, he wouldn't have made it off the beach at Normandy. And yet here he was, standing in front of me, telling me my time was up. That night, I sat across the street on a bench in the little park where Clara and I used to walk. Cold air gnawed at my bones, but I couldn't move. I just stared at that building, our building. The one we moved into right after I came back from Korea. 2 tours, first Europe, then Asia, and all I got was a 30-day notice and a sidewalk for a bedroom. 53 years. That's how long I lived in that apartment. Clara used to sit by the window and read. Her rosewater perfume still lingered in the wallpaper. Even after 12 years since she passed, I could still smell her in the bedroom. I hadn't changed much, calm bring myself to. The radio we used to listen to together, the creaky little couch we bought with our wedding money, it was all still there. Was. Until Blackwood's boys tossed it on the curb like scrap. You know what I mean? The VA didn't have answers. Shelters were full. Legal aid was overwhelmed. I called everyone, wrote letters, even talked to that spineless building manager Henderson Woe, couldn't look me in the eye while he handed me a pamphlet for a homeless shelter. Said he was just following policy. Like that made it okay. I packed up what I could, me medals, Clara's photo album, my old uniform neatly folded like I'd been trained to do back in 42. I gave away the rest. Clara's teacups, her geraniums. My neighbors helped how they could. Most of them were getting the same boot. We were all ghosts in a building that hadn't died yet, but was already mourning. The deputies showed up on the last day, so they had to be there to ensure compliance. Blackwood showed up too, smug and gloating. Watched while his movers carry my life out piece by piece. Clara's reading lamp got tossed like it was nothing. I asked him again one last time if he had any compassion. He said, "Sentiment doesn't pay the mortgage," then told me I was a relic. I didn't cry. Not then. Not in front of him. But later, on that bench, I thought about it all: the war, Clara, the buddies I'd buried. All the times I'd faced death. And somehow, it was that smug bastard and a clipboard that finally broke me. Then I remembered something. I reached into my coat and pulled out an old leather wallet. Behind Clara's photo was a card, yellowed, frayed, barely legible. Just a number and a handwritten note. Albrighton extremis only. Bulldog. Bulldog. Captain Drummond. My old CO from the 101st. The meanest son of a gun I ever met, ferocious in battle, loyal to his men like a blood oath. I hadn't spoken to him in 50 years. But that night, I had nothing left to lose. I dialed the number on my burner phone with fingers that barely worked. I was about to hang up when a voice answered. Gruff. Older now, but unmistakably bulldog. Drummond. It's Albright, I said. Sergeant Arthur Albright. From Bastogne. Silence. Then, my God, Albright. You still kicking? I told him everything. Just the facts, no whining. When I finished, there was this pause. Then the old iron came back in his voice. Stay put, he said. I'm making some calls. And just like that, he was gone. I didn't know if he could do anything. Didn't even know if he remembered me clearly. But I knew one thing. If Bulldog Drummond said he was making calls, people were going to answer. About an hour later, I heard it. Not city noise. Not sirens. This was different, low, steady, disciplined. Military. Then the Humvees showed up. One by one, they rolled down the street, olive drab. No nonsense, blocking both ends like they were taking territory. Soldiers got out. Not kids, not trainees, these were the real deal. Formed a perimeter. Moved with purpose. No yelling. No chaos, just precision. Then a man stepped out of one of the vehicles. Full dress uniform. Silver hair. Chest full of ribbons. Walked right up to me and saluted. "Sergeant Major Albright," he said. "Colonel Alastair Rexford. I'm here on behalf of Captain Drummond, and we're here to make things right." Let me back up a sec. Colonel Rexford wasn't just some PR guy. He was the son of Major Rex Rexfordone of our company's finest. And he'd grown up hearing stories about me. Me, Sergeant Albright. Apparently, I was a damn legend. I tried to return his salute, but my hand shook too much. He saw it. Didn't make me feel small for it, just nodded with that kind of respect only soldiers understand. He told me they were invoking something called the National Veteran Support and Assistance Mandate. Said I was being moved to NIDO, the VIP quarters at the base. Said my things would be gathered and treated with honor. Said what happened to me was an egregious failure of duty, and that certain agencies were already interested in Blackwood's behavior. Right then, like clockwork, a black limo pulled up. Out jumps Blackwood, looking like he'd just rolled out of bed-silk pajamas under his trench coat. He started yelling, waving his arms, demanding answers. Colonel Rexford didn't flinch. "This is a federal operation," he told him. "You made a veteran homeless. We're here to fix it." Blackwood blustered. Said he had the right. That was business. That I hadn't paid the rent. Rexford just pulled out a folder. "We have records of your acquisition, the lease irregularities, the eviction tactics," he said, "and we're sharing them with the city attorney and state housing department." Blackwood's face turned gray. "You're finished," Rexford said quietly. "Now are you going to help make this right? Or will your lawyer be negotiating from a courtroom?" The colonel offered two choices: reinstate my lease, rent controlled, with repairs paid by Blackwood's fear mayor, a very generous settlement, and a public apology. I didn't even hesitate. I took the money. I wasn't stepping foot back in that building, not even for free. The Army packed up my belongings with care. Clara's photo, my medals, my old armchair, they handled it all like sacred items. And me? I slept warm that night for the first time in days. Blackwood? His company took a hit so hard it made headlines. The story went viral. D-Day, vet evicted by greedy developer, rescued by the Army. Donations to veterans groups spiked. The city passed new protections for elderly tenants. Other landlords got real quiet, real fast. I moved into a quiet little cottage near a retirement community. Good people. Lots of vets. Got a garden now. Clara would have loved it. My medals hang on the wall, polished and framed. I get visitors. Rexford drops by, sometimes even Drummond. Yeah, he's still kicking. Still bulldog. And I think about that night on the bench. Cold. Alone. Forgotten. But it didn't end there. Because the truth is, this country still has people who give a damn. Who remember what sacrifice looks like. Who know that some debts can't be paid with money, only with honor. So, tell me, what kind of country do you want to live in? Because this is what justice looks like when it wears boots, shows up unannounced, and reminds the world that heroes don't get evicted. They get saluted. Now, let's talk. Was Blackwood just doing business, or was this something deeper? How should we treat our veterans in this country? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just Arthur's story. It's ours.